Geez, what? Man, it's been a while since we've been. Look at all this. Who didn't we hire like a maid or something when we left? Who left yogurt out? What's the date on this yogurt? January 2022. Oh man. Well, I mean, here we are, back again. Yeah, this will be interesting. We're back? Question mark. We're checking into the place. We're seeing how things are going. The idea of doing this kind of started maybe a couple months ago when I texted you and I said, I might have some stuff to say, because I think the idea of going back and doing this again, we both found ourselves in a place where we didn't know if we would have anything to say.
Let me stop you right there for just a moment. We've been going for a minute. How about we reacclimate? Hi, who are you?
Man, who are any of us?
Well, I'm usually the philosophical one, so
yeah, folks. Spoilers for the show ahead. Dynamics have changed drastically.
Well, introduce yourself at least.
I am your host, Carl Duty. With me, as always, is the man who I see through his eyes a lot better now.
Oh God, I'm sorry,
Mr. Drew Celestino, and ladies and gentlemen, welcome back.
Kind of. Well, no, you're welcome back.
You're welcomed back to the Devil's Due. This is not a courthouse anymore. This is a therapist's office now.
A very disheveled one. There is a couch. You can't sit on it because there's just stuff on it. The mic stands are down. I took the mic stands down, Carl. I didn't know if this was going to happen.
I didn't.
You see the desk? It's a complete disaster.
Yeah, this is definitely it's literally kind of like going back into like an abandoned Wayne Manor.
A little bit. Except I do actually. This is not abandoned. I'm down here every day.
Yeah.
I live like this.
Ever since I went away, it's fallen into disarray. I
sit here and I stare at these screens all day, and I do my work, and everything else just kind of accumulates around. We've been talking about this for a while. Pardon me, I did not know. Circumstances dictated that this evening was going to be it. We had plans. Those plans kind of got shifted at the last minute. You were here, and it was like, well, let's do the thing.
Yeah.
We're talking about doing the thing, so let's do the thing.
Because we've been kind of doing the thing in small doses every game night. Because I'm usually the first one that shows up.
We talk.
And we just kind of fall into the old routine.
How often have we stopped each other like, this could be podcast discussion?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if we go back to why we kind of slowed down or put an end to it the previous time.
COVID didn't help.
Actually, not for nothing. COVID helped us doing it more than because we didn't have anywhere to go. We weren't having game night. We were able to do it remotely.
You're not wrong.
And I think once we got out of COVID, there was definitely a part of we want to get back to living life. And
yeah.
Part of that was, your Grant was getting older, William was getting older. They were becoming more time demanding as children are like to do. And so
I got the Reed Richards going on, Carl.
Yeah. But then hey,
does anyone have Emmett Smith's phone number? I need Just for Men.
I will see you Reed Richards and raise you a Professor Xavier.
Fair.
So an interesting thing happened on the way to the podcast is that
today?
No, just like in general.
What happened?
Because philosophies and outlook on things
a little bit
started to shift Now, dear listener, if you've been with us since the beginning or whenever, you're very aware of the dynamic that Drew and I have, the balance that we maintain. Drew, well, I should say myself, am the hopeful and optimistic one, willing to give most things a chance, and I'm not willing to not say something is bad when it's bad, but it takes a lot more, at least it took a lot more for something to be bad for me than it did for you, shall we say. You tended to be much more critical and, for lack of a better word, cynical.
Yes.
And that was kind of like the balance that we maintained. I think it's one of the things that made the early version of the show work. Oh, Drew, things have changed. Things have changed. Well, I shouldn't say things have changed for me.
Yeah, I would agree. I noticed.
You're keeping the course. Kind of steadying on.
Okay. Let me ponder that for a moment. I would say you have certainly shifted a bit. I'm as cynical as ever, but because I haven't necessarily changed as much, I'm more optimistic in that I'm more apathetic.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of my life caring very much, and I still do very much, and, twist my arm and I'll tell you. Yeah, right. Twist my arm and I'll tell you. But, I've yelled and screamed for so long, and I don't know where it's really gotten me besides a weird reputation.
Yeah.
Which is odd because I lament it, yet I've had people tell me they like that about, if you know me, you just know that's how I am, and it's somehow endearing. I don't know how that works. It's a feature.
I'm not going to say it's an acquired taste, but it takes an adjustment.
Sure. Yeah. And I'll still go off, but it takes a little more. Now it's more or less like, everything's so screwed that I can't invest that much more energy. I accept things as, yes, it sucks. You know that I think it sucks, but I'm not going to yammer on about it anymore.
So
I've done that. I've been there.
If we look at the 4 pillars of the show that we kind of revolved around. It was Star Wars.
Yes. I mean, don't forget the Devil's Due.
Yeah.
Daredevil looms large.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
Comic books / comic book media.
Okay. I think we're at a similar place with that.
Video games.
Okay. Yes.
And professional wrestling.
Yes.
So if we look at where we left at, the last time we did a show was January 3rd of 2022.
Now, if we were really prepared, we would have notes of what we thought about things at that time, and then we could compare and contrast how we feel now.
When have we ever been prepared for an episode?
That's never. That's why our audience never grew.
No.
Actually, to be fair, to that point, just hey, we're riffing here. My thoughts on the podcast medium have changed drastically in the last 10 to 15 years, hosting 2 podcasts and watching the medium itself go through a massive shift in what it could be, and the powers that be behind it. And we can get into that in another point, but I just a million thoughts are going through my mind right now, so we have to kind of we're just going to riff this as we go.
So
sorry, go ahead.
No, that's fine. So when we look back to when we last did a show, AEW, which is our preferred brand of professional wrestling, was in its 2nd year of existence.
Second or in 2022? Did you say?
I'm counting since Dynamite premiered.
That's roughly 3 years.
Okay, so third year of existence, going into its third year of existence. Marvel was, there have been a couple things post Endgame, not a lot. Star Wars, we had primarily the Mandalorian seasons 1 and 2.
Yeah.
There wasn't much past that. Comic books I was still reading monthly books.
Yeah.
Spoilers, I'm not anymore.
Welcome to the club, pal.
Yeah. Video games, I think of all these things, video games tends to ebb and flow more than the others. But, so, AEW was in a really good place. Things are firing. Like, talent was great. I was loving it. I was, discovering new things and whatnot. AEW was great. Marvel, just coming off of Endgame, was super strong. Star Wars was, having, we had a couple of films that I enjoyed. I didn't think there was a bad film at that point, save for Rise of Skywalker.
I was going to say, hey, yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah. The shows were doing good. Comics I were okay with. You were kind of checked out, which is fine. And then, again, the video games kind of ebb and flows. Fast forward to where we are now. AEW's struggling. The quality is inconsistent from week to week at best.
Pay-per-views are still bangers, though.
Pay-per-views are still great, but a company cannot live on pay-per-views alone. Marvel is in dire need of a jolt of lightning to it, because since Endgame, we've gotten some good things, but very few great things. And for the first time ever, we've gotten some just downright bad things.
Fair.
Comic books, I had to let go because, unfortunately, the shop that I was going to for my monthly books, Pulp 716, they had to close. And, I will get into all this in due time. But, so comic books, I kind of let go. Video games,
ebbs and flows, strikes and gutters, ups and downs.
But there's still trends in video games that Drew and I just look at and we're like, no, thanks. But I think the number one thing that, what we struggled with coming back and doing this was that, and this probably goes back to your podcast comment, is that not just podcasts, but obviously social media, things like that. There's just so much discourse. There's so much conversations, and so much of it, it's what are we going to say
that you haven't read 1,000 times?
Yeah. And who's going to listen? And now I think just sitting here doing us, this is much if you want to come on board with this and you want to listen, we appreciate you. We love you for it. But this is much more for you and I.
Yeah.
I think than has been previously. I think when we first started this, I had some delusions that we could, if we just get a little bit of luck here, a little bit of luck there, maybe we could be Buffalo famous. I wasn't thinking, national famous. But now and this probably steers into a little bit of what you were talking about with podcasts. If you are not some sort of celebrity, your podcast is going nowhere.
Yep. It's been co-opted by the powers that be. We're still working the show clean, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch my language then. But everything is terrible. And I mean, seriously, I'm not trying to be overly dramatic, but a lot of the things that, the promise of the internet and services and features of it that I work in the internet, and I've been on the internet for 30 years now. Early 90s is when I hopped on. I made my living on the internet, and I've watched a lot of trends come and go, and I've watched phases of this thing. And I'm not blaming the internet per se, but it used to be a device that connected people together that otherwise maybe couldn't find each other. But now it's just a means for everyone to shout at each other.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of connecting going on, in my opinion, anymore. It's just a bunch of disparate voices yelling and screaming, and it's a wall of noise. And like the podcast thing, dude, I used to really enjoy listening to the whatever podcast and whatever podcasts I loved. And the thing about them is they felt, tribal, and they felt like these are my people and their interests that I'm in. And they were usually DIY affairs or, real grassroots kind of based things. And I mean, I'll even include, he's not, believe me, we're not on equal footing, but like, Kevin Smith's in Smodcast kind of stuff. Yes, he's a Hollywood guy, but he got in on the ground floor and he never felt like he was big timing anyone. It always felt organic and real. Now, even he's like small time in the game because podcasts now are just this big corporate blah. I hear about, I read about like these podcast launches and do you ever see the money involved in these things now?
Yeah.
Like, dude, it's we need X million dollars to launch a podcast. Folks, let me spoil it. You do not need X million dollars to launch a podcast. You barely need $100 to get a couple microphones and some people to sit down and talk. Okay, this is not. It's insane to me. It's insane to me. And the only reason these costs, air quotes, come up are because you're of vested parties that want to sell you something and they want your attention and your money.
Yeah.
Carl and I want neither. Well, we like your attention.
I mean,
but I don't want your money.
Squarespace wants to toss us a bag.
Oh yeah, but you know what I'm saying. Like,
yeah. No,
throw a rock and you'll find someone with a pot. Like every athlete in the world now has his own podcast.
Yeah.
Who's listening to all this? I say this as someone that listens to podcasts and stuff. Like, dude, who's listening to this stuff? Who cares?
Yeah.
Like, who has the time? Who has the interest? I struggle with all of this. Like, there are so many voices out there now, and everyone just is. I feel like there's just a zillion voices, and ultimately, very few are saying anything of real interest.
Yeah, and unfortunately, like,
and I'm including myself in this. Okay,
Yeah.
You don't have to listen to me. You really, I mean, if you do, hey man, thank you.
Yeah.
But I'm not pretending I'm anything I'm not here. There's just find a take and whatever. You don't have to go far to find someone's take on anything.
Right.
I don't know.
It's a lot easier. I would almost say it's a lot lazier just to have a take. It takes a lot more just to have a conversation, a well thought out conversation.
Sure.
I think that's the thing that we've lost the ability to do is to just shut up and listen to each other and not try to disqualify someone as having any value just because, we don't agree with them. And folks,
this is beyond podcasting.
Yeah.
You're talking.
No,
this is big picture stuff.
Yeah, I'm the watcher now. So, well, no, that's the thing. Like, I don't post on social media often. Mm-hmm. I don't post. Mm-hmm. I post way less than I used to.
Same.
Because especially since and it kind of started in the pandemic and it really got kicked into overdrive around like the George Floyd incident. And it was like just a realization of why am I saying this? Who do I think is listening?
Mm-hmm.
And am I really contributing anything? Now, I'm not saying activism is invalid. I'm not saying
no. As you say that, man, you're saying that at a pretty wild time. So.
Yeah. So I'm talking about just shouting into the static.
Yeah.
And thinking something's hearing you. Now, folks, I don't want you to think this whole thing is going to be just Drew and I complaining about stuff.
I'm not complaining.
At Drew's insistence, we will be talking about stuff that we are actually liking right now.
This is where the dynamic has shifted a little bit.
Yes.
Carl's kind of down on everything, and I'm the one kind of going like, no, man, it's okay. It's still good. I still like it.
Because, here's the thing.
We flipped a little bit.
And the thing that we either joked about or never honestly thought would happen happened. We just got too much stuff.
There's too much stuff. I was telling you about that forever ago.
Yeah, but at the time, the amount of stuff we were getting was like manageable. And
I thought it was man. Like, there were things pushing.
Now it's just like, what were we talking about when I came over? The Ghostbusters. You were telling me about Ghostbusters. How you finally got around to watching Afterlife.
I finally got around to watching Ghostbusters Afterlife. I know there's a whole other movie that came out. I haven't seen that one yet, but I did see Afterlife, and I was just like, you know what? This is like, it's fine, but I don't know that it needs to exist.
Yeah, it's like 6-7 years ago, I probably would have been there opening night. Now I'm just like, you know what? I've seen Ghostbusters. I know Ghostbusters. I want new stuff.
So on that note,
to quote Mr. Drew Celestino, to quote, I am keenly aware of my childhood being resold to me, and I'm tired of it.
Yeah, dude, like, watching that movie, I know it was that. Just speaking to Afterlife, and you could probably extrapolate this to any insert property here, because there's been for people that are probably a little headier than us, even, I'm sure there were people that saw The Force Awakens and said this exact thing, because there are parallels you can draw between what I'm saying about Afterlife and Star Wars. And,
right.
But I don't want to belabor that. However, the thing that hit me watching that movie was like, again, I've been I was never hip to it to begin with. I'm kind of like, Ghostbusters, do we need it? Do we need it anymore? But I digress. The thing that hit me watching Afterlife was like, man, a million thoughts hit me. Who is it for? Is this a comedy? Remember when Ghostbusters was? I get a zillion questions enter my mind.
Right.
But the thing that my overall feeling when it was over, was like, man, I feel old. Now, I am old. That's fine. Hey, fine. It is what it is. But I felt old because I just felt like, God. Remember, they're digging up stuff from 40 years ago, and they're putting it in a movie now to sell to me now.
Yeah,
bro, let it go. I'm saying, let it.
Yeah,
I'm old. This makes me feel old.
It's very different from how you have those properties that are evergreen, that span multiple generations, that each generation kind of comes to in their own way. Star Wars, Ninja Turtles, like Transformers, things like that. These are properties that have endured multiple generations, and each generation has their own version of it. And I think, and we were talking,
I think that's why they worked, though, because they never really went away. They just kept iterating. Ghostbusters had a dead period, right? It was gone for a long time, but our generation wasn't going to let that go. Like, in our heart of hearts, it was still alive, but it was, for real though, it was gone.
Yeah. And
it never had that iterative, next generation finds it and falls in love with this version, but it keeps the thing fresh. So when they brought it back, what'd they do? They just went, 2016 happened, and that move, there's a lot of cultural baggage attached to that one.
Spoilers, fandom is still toxic sludge.
Yeah. Oh, of course. But we said that forever. But that's been a point on this show forever. But my point though is it never. Well, actually, no. It's part of my point is that movie got rejected because Ghostbusters never had that kind of every 5-ish years reinvention for the next generation to kind of get on board. No, it was this thing in amber, and then they tried to do a new thing. And the people that were still in the amber were not having it.
Yeah.
And then the people that were in the amber got something that was directly made for them, more or less. And I I'm not saying I'm one of those people, but I'm of the generation, and I certainly hold the first movie in super high esteem.
It's all-timer. It's Hall of Fame.
All-time. Hall of Fame. And like, I just found it to be like, I'm okay if Ghostbusters goes to bed and never comes back, fine. We don't need to be doing this with it.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're doing here. You're trying to get my money, but you're trying to get the kids. But this movie isn't really for the kids. Like, I don't get it. Really?
Right.
I don't know. I was confused. It was fine, but I was left with a lot of weird emotions about it.
Yeah. Another thing comes to mind is kind of where we're at right now with legacy properties / Marvel.
Marvel. Let's talk about Marvel.
Yeah, let's talk about Marvel.
Let's shift into Marvel.
So, at least in my opinion, post Endgame, let's say Endgame, the Infinity Saga, is a unique, masterful experience that will never be replicated.
No.
Because no one will ever take that kind of time and do it the right way, the way they did it again.
It's not just time. I mean, it's time and place. Like, they were the first ones to do that.
Yeah.
And like, you can't do it again. You did
it's
it.
Like, seriously, like, anytime, I'll do it every once in a while when I want to feel, somewhat better about people. I'll pull up the clip of
theater reactions to
Endgame. And
it is very cathartic.
It's like that will never happen again. And you know what? I'm not sad over it.
I'm happy it happened.
I'm glad that it happened, and we can look at that thing and go, that thing was awesome.
Yeah.
Since then, all right, so post-Endgame, kind of got to put this in the context. Post-Endgame, COVID hits not too long after. Disney / Marvel kind of have to reorganize the deck a little bit, and some things, order of release, whatnot, gets changed. Productions are affected. You all know the whole COVID spiel. So we get the first Disney Plus thing we get is WandaVision.
Yes.
Which is great.
I love WandaVision.
WandaVision is great. Then we get Loki.
Love Loki.
Which is great.
Both seasons.
Yeah. Then things don't get bad, but the line isn't going up. It's kind of plateauing.
Oh, it plateaus.
It plateaus. What do we get after? We got Captain America Winter Soldier.
The one I was most excited for let me down.
We got Captain America Winter Soldier, which had its moments, but wasn't like blow away great.
No, and I wanted it to be, because again, I'm Winter Soldier. You know me, that's my jam. Yeah. They didn't get there.
All right, we're gonna make this lighter. Here's our things post Endgame I think are good.
Okay.
And things post Endgame I think are great.
Okay.
Good. Mm-hmm. She-Hulk.
Love She-Hulk.
Because folks, we got Matt back.
Daredevil's back, baby.
We got Daredevil back.
And by the way, we're gonna get into Daredevil thoughts.
Yeah.
At some point here. Like about the upcoming show and its path to where we are. We'll get there. Promise.
She-Hulk was good. Shang-Chi, 3/4 of it was good.
Yeah. I'd say 3/4 was better than good.
Yeah.
And then we just get the typical third act of stuff in the sky, explosions, dragons for some reason. Yeah.
Here's things that are great. WandaVision, Loki, Guardians 3. Although Guardians 3 is almost like an anomaly.
It is.
Guardians 3
it's the
feels
last hurrah.
like the epilogue of the Infinity Saga.
Yeah. It was great.
And then you got the things that are just flat out bad. You got your Secret Invasion, Quantumania.
Haven't seen Quantumania. Hear it's bad. You don't have to. Yeah. I hear things.
I wouldn't go so far as to say it was bad, but definitely a disappointment. Thor 4, Love and Thunder.
Oh, did we not talk about that movie?
No, we never did.
Let's not. Yeah.
Less said, the better.
Yeah.
Even Chris Helmsworth has said, we went a little too far.
I saw that, and you know what bothers me about that? He's taking on the blame, and it's like, bro, listen, you're fine.
Yeah.
You did a job. You weren't the one in charge of that. Someone else above you should have reined in his tendencies, and someone above him should have reined that in too.
Yeah.
So, Chris Hemsworth, you're still cool.
Yeah. I think, and obviously I know there's a ton of stuff that we're not mentioning it. Because if we're not,
you got your Spidey.
Oh yeah, that kind of is going to go into the problem that they're running into, is that Infinity Saga, while adapted for the most part, was still new.
Yeah,
it was still a fresh story that they were telling.
Yeah. Spidey gave you the member berries.
What came out? Doctor Strange 2 came out first, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, it came. Yes. It was supposed to come out second, but it ended up coming out first.
Yes. I enjoyed it.
The second Patrick Stewart rolled out, we were screwed. Because
it is the multiverse.
See, here's the thing, though. Because they realized that they probably didn't realize this in this way. They had different realization about this, but they could be lazy. They could use the excuse of the multiverse to just trot out all the old actors, the old roles, whatnot, and stop giving us new stuff. The perfect example of this are the Spider-Man films.
Sure.
Now, we covered Homecoming, we covered Far From Home, and granted...
Did we talk about the last one?
No, we didn't talk about No Way Home.
Yeah.
At least I don't think we did. I would have to go back in our episodes and whatnot.
I don't recall either.
So, now, whereas not my preferred interpretation of the character, I still really enjoyed Homecoming and Far From Home because they were giving us new things. They were giving us things we hadn't seen in Spider-Man films before. We were getting the Vulture, we were getting Mysterio, we were getting kind of different relationships and whatnot. Then we get to No Way Home, and it's just a greatest hits album.
It's a greatest hits, yeah.
And it doesn't even have like some really interesting B-sides. It's just a greatest hits album.
With a super confusing ending.
Yeah. Because you know what, folks? If you take Uncle Ben out of the picture, that's like saying you're having Batman without his parents being murdered.
Yeah, the Marvel's Spider-Man is a confounding thing. But you'd think that because they got their baby back, this is like their definitive take on things. Yeah. And I don't know if that's true at all because it's so weird and muddled and confusing.
And obviously that hits big for fans, when Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield show up.
Hey, I enjoyed...
There was a lot of fun to be had there.
Yes.
They had their fun with it. But ultimately, it's one of those things where I kind of equate it to the second season finale of Mando. When Luke shows up.
Yeah.
In the moment, really fun, really enjoyable. The further away I get from it, I'm just kind of like, was this really the right call?
Yep.
At least in Mando, it makes sense in the narrative.
It makes sense in the overall narrative.
Yeah.
But it also takes away the main agency of your titular character. Titular character. And I would argue the same thing for Tom Holland Spider-Man. Now, granted, his character does get informed by the other Spider-Men.
Right.
It's all fine and good, but your point is well taken that, but it's still kind of this member berries nostalgia trip.
And then that starts kind of the avalanche. Professor X was the pebble, No Way Home was the rock, and then the avalanche happens. Then, we get Michael Keaton back as Batman.
Well,
all the X-Men coming back, all the Fox stuff coming back, and
slow down. I mean,
nothing
how much
new's getting done anymore?
How much Fox stuff really came back?
We're about to get a whole mother pantload of it in Deadpool Wolverine.
But I think here's the thing. Now, you know me. I don't like Deadpool. I do not care for Deadpool.
Yeah.
I find him to be try hard and irritating. And I find people that make Deadpool their entire identity to be the same.
Right.
You're very try hard and irritating. However, I saw the trailer for and I went into this. Oh, they're bringing it. My whole shtick, my cynical shtick. When I heard the news, they're bringing in Hugh Jackman. Really.
Yeah.
Didn't he get the perfect send off with Logan? Didn't you already do? Okay.
He did.
And I was like, eh. Then a weird thing happened, Carl. I watched the trailer. And I was like, okay, well, I don't like Deadpool. And I don't think, it's a good idea to bring back Hugh Jackman and yada, yada. But it seems that they are aware of all of that. And they're aware of all of these criticisms that we are leveling at it. And my best guess is that they're going to use Deadpool to make fun of all the things that we're talking about right now and fix it. And it's weird. I don't want to have faith that they're going to put like a big universal reset, like a massive universal event that you're going to have to understand going forward in an R-rated movie in the MCU. But I don't know that they're not going to do that, because the trailer I saw feels like, oh, they're very aware of what they're doing, and they're going to use this opportunity to like have fun, but make fun, and somehow set up what's next.
Well, I mean,
that was my read of it, and I don't even like Deadpool, and I was kind of like, that looks kind of fun.
Well, you've heard what they're doing with the multiverse.
Kind of. Look,
they're literally rebooting a story that they haven't even finished yet.
Well, there's outside reasons. Yeah,
which I get.
There's things happened behind the scenes that have made them change course.
Yeah.
But the multiversal thing was obviously the plan. I don't know if it's still going to be the plan going forward, because like you're saying, I don't know that it's what people really want. I think it was cool to think about, and now that they're doing it, I don't know that the returns are showing like that it's a good idea. So they might, they might steer into, or they might wrap up whatever they were going to do a lot sooner than they anticipated and shift. I don't know.
God, I hope so.
But
the thing is, like,
you're down on all of it, though. I could tell.
I was looking forward to the X-Men being in the MCU.
Yeah.
I want a new X-Men. A fresh take.
Me too.
Hugh Jackman, he's got his gold jacket. He's Hall of Fame.
Literally now he has a gold jacket.
Yeah. He had like literally.
It's very yellow.
He looks weird in the suit.
No.
I'm sorry. He looks weird. It's not that the character looks weird in the suit. It's that the Hugh Jackman Wolverine, to me personally, looks kind of not weird, but just not quite right in the suit.
Here's my take on that. I think he looks great. It looks great in live action. They should have did it years ago. But he's very tall, and that looks wrong in the suit. I'm very aware that Wolverine is not... Hey, look, spoilers, folks. Wolverine's one of us. He's one of me. He's me. He's a short guy in the comics. Hugh Jackman, not me. Tall man. Very tall man. Always bugged me about him in the movies, and now that he's in the suit, it proportionally looks weird. That said, I'm giving the suit a thumbs up. Looks good. Should have did it sooner.
Should have been orange and brown.
Hey, you might get that in the next iteration.
Yeah, we'll see. But no, I didn't want Hugh Jackman back. I wanted to see. Like,
no, I didn't either.
I heard people talking about Jeremy Allen White as Wolverine. I was like, really? That guy? And then I watched The Bear. I was like, yes, that guy. Well, no, folks, we're going to get to The Bear.
We're going to get to The Bear. We're going to get
to The Bear.
Yeah, we're going to get to The Bear. It's got Marvel ties too now, officially.
Yeah. And so I just, I wanted to see the MCU version of the X-Men. I didn't want to see the Fox X-Men.
Okay.
I didn't want to see the Fox-Men in the MCU.
Now this is where Carl and I are now like on different wavelengths, different paths, or if you will. I too want that very much. I want that in a big bad way. I still think, you may not, I still think we're going to get that. And I think we're going to get that as a result of whatever the heck happens in Deadpool 3.
No, we'll see.
I don't know that we need the fan servicey whatever they're doing in Deadpool 3, but they're doing it. And I still think whatever it shakes out of that is going to lead to the MCU X-Men, whatever they may be.
I think they just got you hooked because they put Cassandra Nova in, and that got your Grant Morrison.
Listen here. It's a wild time to be a Grant Morrison fan, because X-Men fan in particular, because dude, yeah, Cassandra Nova is in Deadpool 3, which is like wild.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I watched X-Men 97. X-Men 97, but we'll get to that, I guess, as well. Yep. Dude, they're pulling in Morrison storylines in X-Men 97. I'm over here feasting as a Morrison fan.
Yep.
I am eating, sir.
And James Gunn says that All-Star Superman is heavily influencing the Superman reboot.
Well,
but
we can talk about that too.
Here's kind of another place where I'm at. Announcements don't do anything for me anymore. Mm-hmm. Behind the scenes story don't do anything for. I want to see the end product. Show me. Yeah. Show me. Give me a reason to.
Well, they've got the hype cycle down to a T. They know exactly what to say to get you.
Even most trailers don't really do anything for me anymore. I'm just
if it's for something I've never seen before, it might. But for most things, sequels, whatever. Really quick before we move on from that. Where was I going with this? Oh God, I don't even know. All-Star Superman, Grant Morrison,
X-Men, new X-Men,
new X-Men. All I wanted to say was I've been watching. I have not seen the latest episode of X-Men 97 because I watch a few days afterwards. Shocker from the guy who saw Ghostbusters Afterlife X years later. But it's been wild to me this week, so I'm assuming something happens. It's wild to me to see Magneto was right graphics and things being shared on the socials. Folks, this is not me patting myself on the back, but I'm going to a little bit. I had a Magneto was right t-shirt 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm old. It's fine. Welcome to the party. I've been here all along.
Yeah.
I got good beer. Would you like one? Okay.
So, yeah, Marvel's all about just doing old stuff and packaging it as new.
Welcome to comics, man.
Yeah.
Now in cinema form.
Star Wars is not too far off from that. We've had we've had some good stuff. We've had one monumentally, mind-blowingly good thing.
Listen, you and I are never going to be on the same wavelength with Star Wars.
We're not.
I think it's well, everyone knows what I think. I don't. It's not. It ain't
biggest,
good. Okay.
However, my biggest thing with it is that we've gotten just too much of it.
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
It's not special anymore.
It's not special anymore, and it's long been incestuous and completely Ouroboros like in that the snake is eating its own tail with the way it approaches its lore and its characters. Yet, however, that's been my stance for a long time. However, we did get Andor. Andor was legit. Now, I know that, here's the thing. Star Wars needs to be a lot of things to a lot of people nowadays.
Yeah.
The childlike wonder of Star Wars is not in Andor. Okay. No. Andor is made for like adults.
Andor is made for the 77ers.
Is that what I am? Okay, fine.
We are 77ers.
Okay, fair. I'll take that. It treats the property with like an adult-like seriousness and respect.
Yeah.
And gravity. And there's acting, like capital A acting and there's like gravitas and stories and tension, and it's filmmaking. It is capital C cinema, which I adore. Yeah, I like that. Can I have more of that?
Yeah.
When Andy Serkis says I can't swim, I wanted to cry.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. We get, what's his name? The Cape Man,
Skarsgård.
Stellan Skarsgård with his "What If You Sacrificed" speech. Oh my! Give that man an award of some kind.
Have I kind of become that character? I've made my mind a sunless space.
Jesus, I wasn't ready for that dude to drop that bomb.
Yeah, and the mother's funeral.
Oh God! Yeah.
Star Wars has never been known for speeches.
You got some. You got at least 2, if not 3, in that series. It was dope. And we were the ones sitting here when they announced Andor. Like, who cares about Andor? Like, well,
Andor's kind of the Guardians of the Galaxy of modern Star Wars. Like, you're doing this?
Yeah, I know. And the funny thing is, like, Andor himself, the character, is still kind of the least interesting part of the show. But it's fine.
Yeah.
Because everything else is great. And as a kind of like as a guide through what's happening narratively, Andor's it's fine. As a character, he's fine. The character himself is fine. Everything going on around him is amazing.
Yeah. I mean,
give Terry Gilroy another Star Wars movie.
Yeah, definitely. There's nothing, at least for me, there's nothing I'm going to say is just like outright bad that's happening in Star Wars, other than the fact that there's way too much of it.
Mm-hmm.
But things like, Mandalorian season 3, you and I both kind of lamented the story just getting too big. We don't need every Star Wars story to be this big galaxy-impacting thing. What was great about Mandor Season 1 and most of Season 2 is that it was small and contained, and there were little nods here and there.
Tony Gilroy, sorry, I was an idiot. It just dawned on me. I said his name wrong.
And there were little nods here and there to like the lore and things there. Oh, they're sitting on the same table in Mos Eisley Camp. Little things like that. But then like with season 3, the story just got just much, much bigger.
Too much lore.
Yeah. Now, granted.
And also it took the agency away from its main character.
Yeah.
Hey.
And then we had Ahsoka, which I was really excited about because Rebels is very near and dear to my heart. Is like prior to Andor, it was top 3 Star Wars things ever produced. And then Ahsoka was just a bunch of missed opportunities and head scratching story making decisions. And okay, I mean, I've enjoyed Bad Batch because it just is very contained. It doesn't. It's the A-Team in Star Wars, which is just kind of great. It just wrapped up its series, and I was very satisfied with how it ended. But again, there's just I say this as we are recording on May the 3rd. Star Wars Holiday Eve. There's too much. There is too much Star Wars.
Yeah, and oddly, and there's too much. I don't want to say it's lesser, but I'll call it less. There's too much lesser Star Wars. There hasn't been a movie since Rise of Skywalker, man.
Yeah, they're
scared. They don't know what to do.
I can enjoy something and admit that it is lesser. Like, perfect example is the Bad Batch. I enjoy it. It is a lesser form of Star Wars.
Yeah, they don't know what to do.
And sometimes when you have something that big, lesser is good. Because you can argue Mandalorian Season 1 and most of Season 2 are lesser.
They are lesser, but enjoyable lesser.
Yeah. But ultimately, and you say like we haven't had a film since Rise of Skywalker because, again, between The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, the wrong lessons were learned.
They don't know what to do, man.
Yeah.
And now we are getting the Mando movie, and I'm here for it. I'm going to be okay. Like, I'm open to it because I'm not going to close the door on Mandalorian just because Season 3 was kind of whatever. You going to do a movie? Okay. Let's get everyone in the room. what story are we telling, and get everything in a row. Cross your T's, dot your I's, and lowercase J's. Do it right.
But
I'm okay with it.
It's not going to be that. It's just going to be.
You don't know that?
It's the connected. Oh, let's connect it to this and connect it to that. And it's going to be.
It's all connected. You know that.
Tell me a story, beginning, middle, and end.
Okay, well, I'm gonna throw a little. I hear you. I agree with you. Here's the problem. Your man Dave Filoni is in charge here, and that dude does not want to let go of the lore. That dude's got too much lore under his big hat.
He's also really good at it, though.
Okay,
but when he does it well, it's chef's kiss.
Okay, but that's not going to be for everybody, and I think he thinks it is.
I think Star Wars' biggest thing, and this goes back to what we were talking about when I first got here, is I'm okay if you want to reboot something old or something new or whatever. Move the story forward.
Amen. Yes.
You know something I've enjoyed immensely, and we've talked about this, is the He-Man Netflix series.
There you go. Hey, do you want to? Well, is this a shift? Do you want to shift? We're 50 minutes in. Do you want to shift?
Yeah, let's shift. All right.
You're down on everything. You're down on everything. Let's talk about stuff we're up on. What are we into?
We've just scratched the surface of the conversations we've had, and I don't know, like, folks. I'm not going to tell you that we're going to be back here weekly. Probably not. We don't
weekly,
know.
no, but you know what? We could do this again, and I'll tell you something. I'm going to put the call out. Send us this email still active, Carl.
I think.
Okay.
I don't remember what the address is, though. Just, folks, if you want to send us stuff, send us Facebook messages. That I can still
do. Our listeners still have Facebook? I don't know.
I don't know.
We'll put the word out. Hey, tell us what you like, and ask us what we think about the thing. And give us recommendations, and let's try to engage again. That's because I'm here. I might not have time, but I do have interest.
Yes. So let's talk about things that we've been really enjoying. Nothing for me. What about you?
Oh my God! The thing is,
that's not true. That's not true.
I don't know. Past few years, man, you've been kind of down. Me? Oh, what have I been really enjoying? We talked about Andor. Andor was sick. I loved it. Loved Andor.
X-Men 97.
X-Men 97 is pretty good. Now, granted, it's a particular kind of good.
Yeah.
Like, I'm grading on a curve because it's a nostalgia trip, but in its defense, it is moving things forward.
Nostalgia, when done right, can be really amazing.
It's flipping things on its head. It's doing nostalgia right. It's giving you the nostalgia boost, but it is flipping everything that you loved about that thing as it goes on completely on its head.
Yeah.
Like it's doing new stuff with the thing that you love. Mm-hmm. That's smart. Smart.
That's the same thing that He-Man did. Mm-hmm. There was two-parter Revelations.
Did we talk about that? Well, there was
no, we never did.
Well, here's the thing, Carl.
I don't care what people thought about it. People are stupid.
I agree with you. I agree with you entirely. Unfortunately, like, the discourse around that is messed up, and people are going to use that as fuel for. It's not good.
It's a story about Tila. Why is that a bad thing?
Yeah, I know.
And by the way, it was a good story.
Yeah, I know. You gotta tell me. I know. I didn't watch the second part, though. I'm sorry.
You should really watch the second part.
I'll get around to
it.
Okay. After I see the next Ghostbusters movie in 5 years, I'll let you know how He-Man is. What else? The Bear.
The Bear. Wait, no. I want to before we get to the Bear. You're gonna like this.
Okay.
Another thing that we both really enjoyed. Something, and that is another example of when nostalgia is done well, it can be amazing, and something that I had to like almost strap you down to a chair and tape your eyelids open to get you to watch. Picard Season 3.
Yeah.
Picard Season 1 and 2. We're
no. Moving on.
Picard Season 3.
Season 3 was good.
That's how you get the band back together. Star Wars, you watching? This is how you do it.
See, here's the thing. And you're 1,000% correct. I enjoyed Picard season 3 a lot. I'm not going to pretend, however, that it was anything more than what it is. Like, it's very much it's a nostalgia trip. It's a member berries. However,
but done well.
It's done so well. It's like, I'm very aware of what they're doing. My cynical brain wants to like reject it because I know it, but you know what? I don't care. They did it really well. And when they all get on the bridge of the spoilers for Picard season 3, when they set foot on the bridge of the Enterprise D, dude, I'm like, all right, I'm dishing out stars like Dave Meltzer in Tokyo. Okay,
I kind of figured like halfway through the season, I'm like, you guys are going to bring the Enterprise D back somehow, aren't you? And that's what kind of got me worried. But then when they did it and they explained how they did, I'm like, that makes sense. That is logical.
It's fine.
Congratulations.
Yeah. They got the band back together and it was awesome. Complete. Now, I don't need them to do more.
No.
But they're going to. No. And it's like, stop. Just stop.
Don't do any more Picard.
Yeah.
If you like Star Trek, I will recommend Strange New Worlds because that is amazing. It is Star Trek as it was intended to be, exploring concepts and philosophies and things like that. And if you like an kind of off-kiltered take, something a little like that doesn't take itself seriously, Lower Decks is also fantastic.
I've got coworkers that tell me those things as well. We are all a nerdy crew at my my current place of employment.
Yeah.
Which is not the same place of employment that I was in when we last spoke, by the way, Carl, on this podcast.
Neither one of us are in this.
Yeah, life changes happen, folks, and I've got, boy, oh boy.
So
we can talk about that another time, though.
The Bear is cinema.
Yes.
The Bear.
Yes.
If you're not watching The Bear, watch The Bear.
Watch The Bear. I'm a nerdy film brat. I never went to film school, but dude, I love me cinema, right?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to pretend that I'm like hip to every up and coming director and writer, and I'm not. But when you give me a great movie, I went to school for media study, and my media study brain gets flared up whenever I see really masterful work in a movie, TV show, etc. The Bear makes my brain start on fire.
The Bear makes your brain look like the Griswold house.
Yeah, fine, yes. Writing, direction, acting, cinematography.
Yep.
The Bear works, son.
Yep.
I forgot what episode it was, but there was an episode of The Bear where like I was enjoying it. I'm not even sure if it was in season 1 or season 2. I already loved season 1. I love season 2, maybe even more. But actually, no, I do like season 2 even more now that I think about it. And I don't remember what episode this particular moment was. But there's a moment in an episode, dude, where it's a long take. They're in the kitchen and they're all yelling at each other, and it's all one take.
It really doesn't. I know. Well,
no, but it's all one take.
No, I know what you're talking about.
And the camera is following every character back. Boom, 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 and it just keeps going. And the light bulb went off in my brain when I was watching. Like, oh damn, they're doing. This is it. This is the stuff. This is these guys. Whoever makes this show, these people know what's up. They know what they're doing.
So there's some amazing new talent in this show, but there is also classic talent that is showing up.
Holy cow!
And turning in career-defining performances.
We talking about Jamie Lee Curtis here?
Well, we're talking about Jamie Lee Curtis,
dude. She was
she's in 2 episodes.
Amazing.
2 episodes.
Amazing.
And it is the best performance of career, and it's not even a competition.
No, dude, I didn't know she could go that hard.
Yeah.
She was stellar. And another thing I realized.
We say this is like this does not make us Jamie Lee Curtis converts. We were fans.
Oh yeah, of course. But
Jamie
I didn't.
Lee Curtis,
of course, legend. But I didn't know she had that.
Yeah, we
performance.
We didn't
her.
know you had that gear.
No.
I am now my opinions on the Punisher aside.
Yeah,
and this is another place where we kind of differ.
Yeah.
I am a John Bernthal season ticket holder from now on.
Okay, so I like John Bernthal. I just was never super comfortable with him as the Punisher. I can't explain exactly why, but he just always seemed kind of weird and one note in the Punisher role where he just got reduced to screaming, yelling man. Watching him in The Bear, and by the way, folks, if you haven't seen The Bear, he's a minor character. Well, his character is major.
Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis, his character is major, but he is not present.
Correct. Yes, exactly. He's present very seldom, but in the episode that we're talking about, he is very present. And in that episode, he is very restrained. And it was in that episode where I was like, you know what? John Bernthal is a very magnetic screen presence, and I can't tell you why.
Yeah.
But he just does for whatever reason, command your attention. And he's great. He's great. And I think the thing that they probably not, and now that I'm talking it out, I realize the thing that makes him magnetic, and I think what Marvel saw in him but didn't execute quite correctly, there is a simmering beast behind him.
Yep.
Like in him.
Yep.
And in his performances, when he's restrained, he's magnetic because it's in there.
It's there.
I don't even need to see it.
Yeah.
He doesn't even need to let that out, but I know it's there. And he shows that it's there without doing the thing, but you can't take your eyes off him because you're waiting for it to explode.
Yeah.
And in that episode, man, oh my God. When Bob Odenkirk showed up in that episode.
Dude, everybody showed up in that episode.
Oh my God. Bob Odenkirk shows up and when he's needling him in the God.
I am also, this is going to sound weird, I'm also a big Oliver Platt fan.
Okay.
Have been since Three Musketeers. I love the Disney Three Musketeers. I'll accept no slander to that film at all. Movie's great. So yeah, Oliver Platt's in it. He's great. Jeremy Allen White,
fantastic.
Whose the lead role is, and what's his name? He's going to play the Thing.
Richie, man.
Oh, Richie.
I don't even know his real name. He also played Micro in The Punisher, by the way. Okay, not sure if you knew that.
Yeah, I know.
Hang on, I'm going to look it up because
it's an odd name.
It's an odd name. Sorry, I don't mean to call it odd.
It's an odd name.
But you know what I'm saying.
I shouldn't say odd. It's not a common name.
I have it right here. Who is Richie? Eben Moss Backrack. And I apologize if I have completely...
I believe it's pronounced Eben.
Eben Moss Backrack. And I apologize if I completely butchered that. Dude, Richie is my man. This
is a character...
You will hate him.
You will despise
him.
This is like... I forget the character's name from Game of Thrones. The king, the kid who was the king.
Joffrey?
Joffrey.
I didn't watch Game of Thrones, but I know of Joffrey.
It's like that level. And then in the span of 2 episodes.
2 or 3. Well, the whole season, but then within 2 or 3, man.
Yeah. The to use wrestling parlance, the face turn is epic. It's all time. You love this character.
Yep. I'm ride or die for Richie right now.
Yeah. It's just absolutely incredible. What else are we enjoying?
Well, he's going to be the Thing, and I'm here for it. Here for it.
It's going to be a period piece. The show. So apparently, Giancarlo Esposito announced that he's been cast in a Marvel film, but specifically said it's not who you think. But fans will go nuts. I'm thinking they probably made him Doom.
Okay.
Yeah. Disney's going to be like, Pedro Pascal, Giancarlo, we got him button heads again because the Mandalorian.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Duh. I mean, was Pedro Pascal really there? His stuntman was.
Yeah. So yeah.
I had not heard that.
Yeah, that was just today, like literally a couple hours before I came over. And apparently Ben Affleck is in talks to play something in Marvel. What would you want Ben Affleck to play?
I
want Ben Affleck to play Johnny Blaze?
They already cast Johnny Blaze, dude.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, they did.
No, they didn't.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're thinking Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I'm thinking of Johnny Storm.
Johnny Blaze. Ghost Rider.
Gotcha. Nah. You got the Fleck? We got to go big. Who's Fleck playing?
He's probably going to show up in Deadpool. His cameo's Daredevil.
Yeah. No, you're right. That's actually probably what's going to happen.
So yeah. So, but no, things that we actually like.
Yeah, the bear. Spoilers. I love the bear. Let's see what else. In the span of time since we last did this, I don't remember what year the final season of The Expanse aired, but it did. And in that time as well, I finished out all of the Expanse novels. I know we were talking about it on the show because I remember listener Cyrus Moore was messaging me quite frequently about it.
Yeah.
And
Adam Williams,
another Expanse diehard.
He was, I believe, a convert.
Okay.
For the show.
Well,
let's see how many books there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
9 mainline, and then the last one is the all of the collected short stories.
Went 10, 11, 12.
No. Oh God. Yo, listen here. Listen.
No.
I love The Expanse more than I love most things. It is in the rarefied air of things for me. I am ride or die Expanse. Okay.
Yep.
They absolutely nailed the ending in a way that left me like shaken and
good.
And dude, and they leave it. It's a definitive ending, but there's an opening. There's enough of an opening. It's never going to come back. They're very much content with what they've done.
That's okay.
But God, your imagination can run wild, knowing like, but what could happen?
Yeah,
and that's fine. It talks. It lands all its themes. It completely. It has a thing to say across all of those books. So good. And the show ends in a natural place in the story, and it could go on. And maybe it does. Maybe they get the money and they can do the next 3 books. I'll tell you though, those 3 books that they have not turned into the TV show, oh boy, they are probably the best 3 books in the series. And that's saying something as someone who like got hooked on the series and then dove into the books and fell in love with all of it.
Yeah.
Those 3 that they're not in the show are so good. I don't care if they ever adapt them. It'd be cool if they did, but I would be, if they did, I'd be terrified they wouldn't do them justice because they're so good. I freaking love it. And I'm doing a rewatch with Jen now on The Expanse, and she got hooked on it just like I did. And like watching the same episodes that I was like, oh, and watching her do it. Oh man, it's been super cool.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Something I enjoyed was Monarch, Legacy of Monsters. Really, really surprised how well this show fit into that universe. Because it's technically, like, if you were to categorize it, it's a Godzilla show. But it's kind of not. It's very much about society dealing with the aftermath of the 2014 Godzilla film.
Okay.
It's post-Godzilla, pre-Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Okay.
So like if you've seen Skull Island, if you've seen Godzilla the 2014 and Godzilla basically just those two. You've seen everything you need to see Monarch. It's on Apple TV. It's really good. And Kurt Russell's in it, other person I have season tickets for, and his son Wyatt Russell's in it, and they both play the same character in two different time periods.
Okay, I see what they did there.
And it's really enjoyable. So
That's U.S. Agent to you, by the way.
I prefer to think of him as this character instead of U.S. Agent.
Fair.
Board games. We still love board games.
We've played a lot of board games.
Yet, like I mentioned to you yesterday, 10-year anniversary, the first night you invited me to a board game night.
It's been a journey, my man.
And it's been great.
We're still doing it.
Yeah.
We're here now. We could be playing right now, but everyone bailed on us. So here we are talking instead. We'll squeeze some stuff in tonight, though.
Yeah.
Video game wise, I'm not sure if I, God, you're talking what, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago that we last did this thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if Grant was on his Portal obsession at that point. Okay, my son, currently 5, going on 6, at the age of 3 or 4, became a Portal addict. He knows the Portal lore, and he can play Portal 1 and 2 at a level that you would be shocked to see out of a kid that young. And I discovered, I already loved that stuff, but watching him love it too is pretty wild. It also taught me something kind of crazy about that game. That's actually a phenomenal game for a kid. And it's for the tone of it obviously is dark and sort of adult. However, what I mean to say by it's great for a kid is the game design of that game is brilliant for a game novice or a child, because the objective is dead simple. The controls are very simple. There's not a lot of stuff. There's no menus. There's no text. There's no reading. There's no jumbling of menus. It is point A, point B, go. And it's all narrative storytelling. It's all in-game storytelling. So it's very easy for a kid to understand.
Yeah.
Sucked him right in. Now, granted, he was all in for a while. Now, I'm talking about my kid right now, but sorry, I'm going to do it because I'm proud papa here. We had the Portal phase. Pikmin 4 comes out. I get Pikmin 4 for my birthday. I don't have a lot of expectations necessarily out of a Pikmin game. Pikmin 4 smashed my expectations. That game is excellent, awesome, packed. There's like 4 A's in there, if not more. Packed with content, okay? I did not realize how much stuff Nintendo was willing to stuff into a Pikmin game. That game is loaded. I thought like, this would be a breezy 20-hour ordeal. Dude, I sunk like 80 hours into it in my campaign, okay? Now, within 6 months of me getting Pikmin 4, Grant, Daddy, can I play Pikmin? Okay. Dude, Pikmin is his new obsession. Pikmin has supplanted. We had a Portal phase. Everything had to be Portal. Everything had to be turrets. Everything had to be Wheatley, Gladys, Cave Johnson. This kid knew it all. Everything had to be Portal. We had a Portal birthday party. Fast forward. Pikmin's the new thing. He's got Pikmin plush. Every Pikmin plush, by the way. Pikmin shoes. Pikmin shirts. Pikmin everything.
Etsy is your friend, huh?
He makes clay Pikmin stuff, modeling clay. My kid is very creative.
He's exceptionally good at the clay forming.
He's very hands-on creative. He is on like his 7th save file of Pikmin 4. Now, granted, I help a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm on my 10th save file. I've played Pikmin 4 many more hundreds of hours than I ever expected to play Pikmin 4 on account of helping my son. However, he adores it. He loves it. He plays it all the time. He loves this game. And in turn, because he loves it so much, I love it too. Now, granted, if he didn't love it, and I didn't, I still would have the same opinion of it. I was not prepared for how hard Nintendo was going to go on Pikmin 4. They went all in. If they don't make another Pikmin game for the next decade, 4 is loaded. Enjoy, feast. It's quite the ordeal. So nice. Yeah, Pikmin 4 was a good time. Did I enjoy anything else as
Zelda.
much? Did we? Oh yeah. Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah, 10 out of 10. Yay. I sunk as many hours into that as I did Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
This is not me taking points away. This is not necessarily a criticism of the game itself. It's wildly different than Breath of the Wild. It makes Breath of the Wild feel like a demo. That said, because it's the same world map and largely the same gameplay loop to a degree, I found myself not bored, but like not as apt to go back for seconds as I did with Breath of the Wild. Like yep, I've done this. I love this.
Yep.
But I've done this. It's great. The finale of it is mind-bendingly cool. No spoilers here. It's very cool the way it wraps itself up. But yeah, it was great. 10 out of 10. Zelda, dope, super dope. Mario Wonder, great, loved it. Loved it.
Fun.
A lot of fun.
Very easy to pick up, very hard to put down. Not like your first couple boards are very traditional Mario fare, and then they kind of let loose in the design space and do things that haven't been done in a 2D Mario game before.
Yeah.
And it was really
creatively
enjoyable to see.
Very creative. They let the creatives run wild on it. Yeah. Boy.
I've got a couple as far as video games go. Spider-Man 2.
Okay, of course.
Was good. Now keep in mind, this is the regard that I hold Spider-Man 1 in.
You and I both, I think. I love that game.
Spider-Man 1 is the single best piece of Spider-Man media to be made in the past 20 years. That's including television shows, movies, comics, anything else.
I think you and I may have said it's like the definitive Spider-Man experience. You get it all.
Yeah. So that bar being set, Spider-Man 2 falls short, but is still worth the price of admission. It is unnecessarily more for game reasons.
Yeah.
Like, it's very cool that you get to switch between Peter and Miles. The story with Kraven the Hunter is really good. Then when Venom shows up, because they don't do at least what I hold as the correct Venom story. Yeah, it's not. It's kind of where the game goes off the rails a little bit. But visually, the map is actually bigger than the original. It's got like all the boroughs in it now. It's insane.
Going to Brooklyn.
You can essentially fly in it, which I'm not crazy about.
Spider-Man's supposed to swing, not fly.
Yeah. But given how big the map is.
Sure.
Sea of Stars.
Yeah, we enjoyed.
Sea of Stars I absolutely loved. Was my surprising it was my overall game of the year for 2023, which is very surprising because my all-time favorite franchise got what is in the conversation for its best installment ever.
Street Fighter
6. Capcom listened to all the critiques of Street Fighter 5 when it first came out. And when you bought Street Fighter 6, you got a hefty game. Not just in content, but the game controls beautifully. The new mechanics are incredible. I kind of had to go home and be a family man, to put in Guile's parlance.
I see what you did
as far
there.
as like fighting games go. So I don't put in the time that I used to, but man, this game is
and yet
it could be the best Street Fighter game, and yet nothing is perfect because
Sea of Stars came out.
Sea of Stars was better. Sea of Stars was like what? Because as much as I love Street Fighter has never made me cry.
Sea of Stars can get emotional, man.
Yeah. Sea of Stars is a classic style, Japanese style role-playing game that is just incredible.
I loved it. I'm docking it points because I felt like at a certain point the narrative got a little too murky. I wasn't sure, wait, what?
I can see that.
Like, wait, what's going on?
Yeah.
What happened? Who? What? And to be fair, as a JRPG, it pains me. That's just part of the genre.
Yeah.
So if they knew the assignment, well, congratulations, developers of Sea of Stars. You nailed it.
Did it.
But I also could have used a little more brevity there.
Right.
But I adored it.
So yeah, just to kind of start to put a bow on this, there are things.
There's hope.
There are things we enjoy.
There are still things I enjoy and am looking forward to. Look, dude, it's not all down. It's not, sure, I don't collect comics anymore. God, I feel like Jerry Seinfeld when he gets all emotional in that one episode, like, sure, I'm not funny anymore. But
I think we're still funny. Just it's not so much way more.
No,
okay.
We're fine. Look, man, everything's kind of on.
The one who was bright and hopeful is now really depressing.
And I'm the one that's kind of like trying to be optimistic about stuff. I think Marvel's going to be okay.
I think what hit me is everything just kind of got bad all at once.
Well, sure. And that's not even getting into, the world around us. And that's a whole other topic of conversation that I don't want to get too deep into. It's much too late in the show for that anyway.
That's what you're not coming here for.
Needless to say, though, it's not good, and I don't feel good about it. But I'm choosing, in this case, on this podcast, and in the things that I try to consume, I'm picking my battles, and I'm choosing to remain optimistic about the things that I like. And, sure, some stuff is not going so great, but it ain't dead yet. And as long as it ain't dead, and it's still going at a reasonable clip, it's okay. And I'm okay with it. So, come on, Marvel. I know you got it in you.
It's not dead yet. It's just too dang much of it.
It's fine. They cut back big time this year. It's okay. James Gunn gave us Guardians 3. After watching, I walked out of Guardians 3 thinking, I cannot wait to see this man's Superman movie. That was my that was my immediate thought. Like, all right, give me Superman. I have absolute trust in you to give me this movie. You are not so sure.
I don't trust anymore. Show me. Trust is a commodity when it comes to things like this that I have very little of. Marvel, get good. AW, get good. Star Wars, get good.
They're all right. They're okay. Star Wars, maybe not. But everything else will be okay. It's going to be okay. It's going to be all right.
I'm going to go paint.
We didn't even talk about the painting.
All right, we'll do a couple minutes real quick on the painting.
We can always put a button in it, and then you could tease the painting for the next episode.
Yeah, we'll talk about
the
Carl's
painting
next episode.
Let me put it this way. Gomez Adams, Reverend Lovejoy, and the Trains. Carl and the Paints. Teaser for the next episode.
Okay, folks. We know this episode just as much surprised you as it was to us. We enjoy you giving us some time of the, I'm sure, many podcasts.
Oh yeah,
But listen, we don't know. We do want to kind of try to keep doing this. We're really just kind of like, it's not a courtroom anymore. It's more of just like a therapist office. But we do want to hear from you. The one thing that we always enjoyed about the show is hearing from all of you. So, in the absence of my traditional Exit to the Show, if you want to reach out to us, do it through the Facebook page for now. I'll dig through and find what our actual stuff was. So, yeah. But for right now, it's been great just kind of getting back and hanging out and dusting off the microphones. And yeah, we'll see about doing this again sooner rather than later.
We're here. We can do it. We can do things. So we're told. Maybe. Definitely maybe. More maybe than not. Wow, that's a hedge. That's a hedge.
I don't want to get people's hopes up.
Whose hopes? Anyway, it was fun.
Yeah, it was.
We're back.
It was fun.
Kind of. Let's go play a game.
Okay.